welcome everybody to Dublin. Welcome to Lucene Revolution 2013 EU. We're very excited to have you all here today. I know a lot of people had to travel quite a long ways to make it, so we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules and out of your days to be here with us today. My name's Will Hayes. I'm the Chief Product Officer for LucidWorks. LucidWorks is the commercial entity behind the Lucene Solr project. We work with a number of the community members, we employ a lot of committers, and we contribute lots of technology back into the project and to enterprise search in general. So we're very happy to be putting on this show and to get a chance to network with all of you, to get a chance to put names to faces. For me in particular, being kind of new to this movement, new to this company, it's just a very exciting and a very special time to be here. So we had a lot of fun last night at the welcome reception. I hope you guys all enjoyed it as well as I did. It was sort of a fascinating time. I got to meet a lot of the legends that I would read about in blog posts and see on mailing lists, and again, put some faces to names. Also got a chance to learn about some of the just really exciting and fascinating things that people are doing with this technology. The kind of things that people are doing with search is just unbelievable in this sort of this evolution that we're in of what people are calling big data, the need for access, the need for real-time information. So really exciting time again to kind of be here with you all, and I'm just incredibly special moment for me, just kind of having a chance to network and a chance to kind of meet a lot of the folks that I had been reading about and interacting with over email for quite some time now. So before we get started, I want to just do a little bit of housekeeping. So has everybody had a chance to grab the Lucene Revolution app? We're taking a bit of a different approach to a conference at this show. We're taking what we call sort of a green approach. So I just want to run you through really quick, because this is actually a very cool piece that was put together by our team at I Am Creative and the LucidWorks marketing team. So I see the app here. I think we want to put it up. There we go. So if you just launch this app on your phone, and you can even just browse to it, you just go to dublin.lucenerevolution.org. You'll see here that I get pretty much anything I need to know about the show, about the venue, about Dublin. I've got information on the parties, of course, so especially tonight, we've got the party at Dawson. Oh, sorry, I actually never use an iPhone, so this is like the most nervous part about doing this talk was the fact that I had to perform with an iPhone on stage. You can also find information on social media. You can interact with attendees. You can tag folks and put notes on them. You can upload your profile. So I encourage everyone, if you haven't done so already, to check out the app. Lots of cool stuff on there. And again, it's just sort of your one-stop shop for everything about the conference. There we go. So we've got a number of contests for you as well. So we're doing a photo contest. So if you're taking photos throughout the show, we've got this awesome backdrop of this rugby field. I still just like am in awe that we're here inside of this stadium. So you can submit your photos via Twitter. You can tag them, #RevPick. We're going to be picking 2 winners today, picking a winner tomorrow. You'll see those winners announced on Twitter. So just come by the LucidWorks booth and come pick up your prize. We've also got a contest that we're running throughout the sessions. There we go. So when you see our Sherlock Holmes character, appreciate it. When you see our Sherlock Holmes character here, he'll be saying a keyword. This will be embedded in a couple of different presentations that are going on out today with a variety of speakers. So when you see this keyword, you can tweet it. Excuse me. And we're going to announce those winners on Twitter as well. And then finally, we're going to be doing prize time tweets. So if you're following Lucene Rev on Twitter, you'll see a prize time tweet, first person to retweet that out. So we've got all kinds of books and gift cards and things to give away. So it should be a lot of fun. We've got an excellent agenda today. Michael Bush is going to be delivering the keynote. Very excited to hear that. A bunch of great sessions that are scheduled throughout the day. What I'm told is one of the most popular events at Lucene Revolution, the Stump the Chump panel, where Chris Haas and other members of the committer community will be available for you to just throw them tough questions on the spot and watch them squirm. We do have one unfortunate announcement that there was a 2 o'clock session that was titled, what was it there? It was the Relevancy Tuning Simplified. It was going to be delivered by Daniel from FindWise. So Daniel unfortunately became ill and couldn't make the trip out to Dublin. So if you were scheduled for that session, we've got a number of other tracks that are going on, so encourage you to take a look at the agenda. But yeah, we're sorry for Daniel, and we're sorry to miss out on his session, but we will try to get his material so we can make that available after the show. It's a good point that everything we do here at the show will be open, all the presentations and the videos, so as you've missed something or you didn't get a chance to hear a session that you were interested in, that material will be there and it'll be available for you. And I want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors, because of course, without our sponsors, this show wouldn't be possible. And we know how important this show is. We know how important it is that we all come together, that we get a chance to network, we get a chance to exchange ideas and to interact, and we get a chance to look at the problems that are facing us collectively as a group. And that's the beauty of open source. It's the innovation that we can do as a community. It's the joint commitment that we have back to the technology. And this technology is changing the way people interact with the world. This technology that everyone in this room is a part of, it's shaping this landscape that people call big data. You know, we like to say at LucidWorks, it's like search has been big data before big data was even cool, before it was even a thing. We were dealing in massive amounts of information. We were putting context behind that information. We were trying to find relevancy in millions and millions of objects and documents. And that's technology that all of you have been contributing to, some folks for over a decade now. So it's a really exciting time just in the movement that's going on in space today called big data. And it's an exciting time to be part of search. For me personally, having not been a part of this community for very long, it's a very special moment for me to be able to be in this room, to listen to these sessions, to meet all of you. So before I came to LucidWorks, I was fortunate enough to be a founding member of a team called Splunk. And at Splunk, we had a pretty simple mission. You know, another big data challenge that was out there since really the beginning of technology was log data. It was these system administrators that were just getting buried in information. But there was lots of useful nuggets trapped inside of that information that we wanted to make accessible. You know, we had this saying, and it was, take the SH out of IT. And this was sort of a catchy saying. It kind of took off. It made a great T-shirt. And I can tell you from the early days, back in like 2005, 2006, while we were all figuring out how to make software actually stand up and scale, and it didn't really work very well, that our saving grace was that we had some cool T-shirts. But if you think about what this statement means, it really meant that we wanted to simplify the lives of our users. Because these system administrators were just buried in mountains of information, but this information was the key to unlocking insight. So we knew that, well, hey, if we can make this stuff searchable, we're going to simplify the lives of these users. And that was really just the goal. It was about 6 people, thought we'll build something fast, we'll hopefully make it stable and make it scale, and we're going to achieve our job here. What we didn't realize was what happened when you unlock this information, when you put the power back into the hands of the users or the domain experts. And that's the beauty of search. That's the beauty of the technology that all of you contribute to or work on or are part of. It's the ability to empower users who understand context but have little ability to go and extract information back out of there. Search really is that universal interface. It's that thing, that looking glass into our big data that creates insight, that allows the ingenuity of the users to solve problems. It's enabling researchers to find cures. It's helping doctors provide better treatment. It's helping us optimize the way that we travel, the way that we get from A to B, manufacturers finding ways to reduce environmental impact and the things that they're building. This is the power of search. This is the power of technology like Lucene and Solr that make all of this available. And if we think about data and you think about what all is going on in the world, it's estimated that there are 2.7 zettabytes of data that are in the world today. 90% of that data was generated in the last 2 years. Just think about that for a moment. This is why it's the golden age of search. That means 571 new websites are created every minute. Somebody here is probably creating a Tumblr account right now and uploading something to it. It's 100 terabytes of data that's being uploaded to Facebook daily. I guarantee somebody's checked in or is uploading a photo or hopefully not saying anything about me that's too rude. In 2008 alone, 20 petabytes of data was being processed by Google daily, and that was 6 years ago, 5 years ago. So if we put all this into perspective, and if we think about, well, what does that sort of equate to? That's the equivalent of every single person on the continent of Europe tweeting once per minute for 15,000 years, continuously. So this is the age that we live in. This is the challenge that's facing us today, because within all this information, again, there lies insight, there's profitability, there's answers, there's cures, there's optimizations, there's environmental impact reductions. All of this is made available through search. And users today have this expectation, thanks to these devices and these tablets and the Wi-Fi access and the 3Gs and the 4Gs, means everywhere I go, I want to access information. I want to grab my mail. I want to get to my contacts. I want to figure out where the Aviva Stadium is. I want to know where the Guinness Tour is, and do I have time to sneak out during the afternoon and make it back thanks to some Google mapping or some transportation information that I can grab. Search is what's empowering all of this. It's the technology, again, that we're here to talk about over these next 2 days that's making the world more accessible. It's making it more contextual. It's driving business. You know, it's estimated in the retail sector alone that by leveraging search, by leveraging big data analytics, we can increase profitability by 60%. Now, it's oftentimes we think about profitability as being this sort of financial upside, but profitability means we're saving time for people. We're giving them more time with their families, more time to interact with their communities. We're empowering people to get to the answers that they want and that they need, and we're reducing the time that it takes them to get there. At LucidWorks, we believe search is everything. We think it's the center of this movement that we call big data. You know, it's funny, I have this saying, it's like without search, your big data is just data. It's just a bunch of ones and zeros and bits and bytes that are sitting there on a disk, or they're behind some data store that you need an expert to go in and extract out of it. But the types of empowerment that you can create for these users when you actually give them interfaces back into this data, it's endless. And this is where I draw from my experience at Splunk, where again, we just thought we wanted to get rid of grep. It was a pain in the ass. What we didn't know is that all of a sudden, people were going to find ways to optimize businesses, that research companies were going to learn quicker times to market for new drugs and to new cures, because we were enabling them to leverage the information and the power that they had inside of them, but to extract that out of the data that was around them. One of my favorite studies was done by the Santa Fe Institute. And this was a search problem, I realized, after kind of reading through it. They wanted to classify poverty. They wanted to understand what were the indicators that were preventing upward economic mobility, especially for people in remote areas. And they did this through data classification. They looked at communication data, and they looked at census data, and it helped them draw a model that said as certain regions within rural communities became cut off, when the communication stopped flowing between certain regions, that prevented them from having economic prosperity because they weren't trading, they weren't engaging, they weren't getting access to medicine. So by loading all this information and analyzing these patterns and using classification and entity recognitions and all these techniques that people in this room have been employing for years, they were able to quantify the state of a society based on its access to information, based on the flow of communication. In healthcare, another study was done by McKinsey that said by leveraging patient data, environmental data, research, and therapies that were available, in the United States alone, the cost of healthcare could be reduced $300 to $450 billion a year. Again, these are search problems. These are problems by employing the techniques of data enrichment and data refinement, being able to process signals that exist inside of data and outside of data, out there in space, can help bring us to contextual answers. It can help drive optimization around the way that we do things. It can help us understand the human condition. And that's what's so important about this show, and that's why I'm so excited to be a part of this Lucene Solr movement. I'm so excited to be a part of LucidWorks, because we're unlocking information for the world that's out there. We all hear these trends. We hear people talk about the promise of big data. We're going to drive profits X, Y, and Z. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. It's going to change the world. But the truth is, if we don't empower the users, if we don't provide interfaces to the users, where doctors and scientists and researchers and marketing people and all the folks out there who are consumers of this data, if they don't have access to it, then it becomes useless. So I hope everybody in this room recognizes how important you are for this generation that we're moving into, this data-driven generation. Because without the technology that you all are working on, none of this is going to be possible. And the promise of big data is going to be unattainable. So that's why we're here this week. We're here to share, and we're here to network. We're here to talk about the challenges that are facing us and the things that we can do together to help solve them. We're here to explore new ideas, to hear from different people that have tried things that we may not have expected. We're here to meet some of the folks that are behind the projects that we use every day. And we're really here just to have fun. So I want to thank everybody again for being a part of this and for joining us here in Dublin, Ireland. Again, I know everybody's busy. It's toward the end of year, end of quarter. There's all kinds of things going on. But I think we all recognize how important it is that we get together every now and then and really talk about the technology and talk about the things that we're doing. So without further ado, I'm incredibly excited for this keynote speaker. He works for one of the most fascinating companies in the world. He works on some of the most fascinating Lucene use cases to date. I got a chance to hang out a bit. He's actually a really nice guy to boot, so it makes it even cooler. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Michael Bush.